The first doomed soul on our list, Brian Nichols, initiated a chilling turn of events in an Atlanta courthouse in 2005. Facing trial for rape, Nichols overpowered a guard, seizing her gun. The ensuing escape attempt resulted in the death of a judge, court reporter, and a sheriff's deputy. Although Nichols succeeded in fleeing the courthouse, his freedom was short-lived. He was apprehended after a massive manhunt the following day. Picture it, my ghoulish guests, the tense atmosphere of the courtroom where fates are sealed and justice meted out. Yet, within these hallowed halls, some desperate souls facing the cold reality of life behind bars opt to roll the dice on a desperate dash for liberty. With bated breath, join me as we traverse these macabre narratives of 10 criminals who dared to gamble their freedom on the courtroom floor. Number 9 on our bone-chilling roster features the escapades of Christopher Gay. Known for his serial escapes, Gay's most audacious attempt was in a Utah courtroom in 2007. Shackled and surrounded, he somehow managed to escape, leading authorities on a wild cross-country manhunt. But this was no ordinary day in court, and Christopher Gay was no ordinary defendant. Dressed in prison orange, his limbs weighed down by cold steel shackles, Gay was a seemingly subdued menace. Yet beneath the apparent calm lay a simmering cauldron of cunning and daring. With the eyes of justice trained on him, Gay made his move. In a breathtaking display of audacity, he managed to give his captors the slip. How? The precise mechanics of his escape remain shrouded in mystery, but escape he did, right from under the noses of the very symbols of law and order. This act ignited a frenzied manhunt, a chase that wound its way across the country. Creeping into the 8th position, we are met with the chilling story of Michael David Dunn. In 1990, Dunn made a desperate bid for freedom during his trial in a Florida courtroom, managing to take a bailiff hostage with a makeshift knife. His attempt was thwarted by police, but not before sending shockwaves through the courtroom. Dunn, a man under the heavy weight of the law, decided to take fate into his own hands. In a maneuver fraught with desperation, he devised a daring ploy. With a makeshift knife, a chilling testament to his desperate resolve, he managed to transform from a defendant into a threat within the confines of a courtroom. The routine humdrum of the trial was punctuated by a scream as Dunn took a bailiff hostage. The air in the courtroom grew thick with terror, the tranquility shattered by Dunn's reckless gamble for freedom. The onlookers, expecting a day of due process, found themselves unwilling spectators of a horrifying drama. Materializing at number 7, we uncover the shocking saga of Billy Wayne Hayes. In 1998, Hayes tried to bolt from a Tennessee courtroom during his sentencing for theft charges. However, his daring attempt at escape was cut short as he crashed into a door and was promptly restrained. Hayes, faced with a grim reality, a sentencing for theft charges, decided to risk it all in a brazen bid for liberty. With the prospect of imprisonment looming over him, Hayes seized upon an opportunity for escape, his survival instinct roaring to life amidst the sterile ambience of the courtroom. Envision, my morbid viewers, the sudden change in atmosphere. From the typical hushed silence punctuated by legal jargon, the courtroom was jolted into a scene of wild chase. Hayes, fueled by a potent blend of adrenaline and fear, threw caution to the wind and attempted a bold dash for freedom. Stepping into the 6th spot, we encounter the suspenseful narrative of Vladimir Savic. During a 2009 trial in Switzerland, Savic managed to escape the courtroom by employing a decoy and causing a disturbance. His quick-thinking strategy and swift exit left everyone in the courtroom in a state of startled bewilderment. Savic, a seemingly nondescript individual awaiting trial, was on the precipice of implementing a daring plan, one that would morph the mundane into a moment of sheer bafflement. Under the watchful eyes of the court, the stage was set for a dramatic breakout that would reverberate through the annals of escape attempts. To visualize the scene, my beloved viewers, imagine the subtle transformation of the courtroom. Once a space of calculated dialogues and steady legal rhythms, it was abruptly jolted into a whirlwind of bewilderment and surprise. The catalyst, none other than Savic, the unsuspecting central character of this strange narrative. As we plunge into the 5th spot, we meet Harold Laird, whose audacious escape attempt involved seizing a knife and taking a hostage in a Colorado courtroom in 2016. While the standoff was eventually diffused with Laird's arrest, the chilling moment left an indelible mark on those present. Every eye was glued to the unfolding spectacle. Every heartbeat pounded in sync with the ticking clock. The standoff stretched on, its icy tension gripping the room in a chokehold of fear. The faces of those present were ghostly masks of horror, their breaths held hostage by the grim drama playing out before them. Swooping into the fourth position, we are confronted with Derek Estelle, who, in a daringly coordinated attempt, managed to escape from a courthouse in Arkansas in 2013, aided by an accomplice. His freedom was short-lived, however, and the long arm of the law soon reeled him back in. With heart-stopping coordination, Estelle's accomplice creates a distraction, temporarily pulling the gaze of the guards away from him. Seizing the moment, Estelle darts towards freedom, managing to wriggle his way out of the courtroom's stifling confines. Such a daring escape sends shockwaves through the courtroom, a disquieting reminder that even in the epicenter of justice, control can be fleeting. The frenzy that follows, the shouts of alarm, the rush of guards, the pandemonium of a system disrupted, it all becomes a chilling tableau of what desperation can drive a person to do. Descending into the ominous third spot, we revisit the case of Daniel Selby Jr. in 2017. While in a Pennsylvania courtroom facing charges for failure to register as a sex offender, Selby slipped out of his handcuffs and made a break for it. He was captured a day later, only adding to the weight of his legal troubles. Can you imagine, dear viewers, the clamour and chaos of that moment? The sudden gasps of disbelief, the adrenaline-soaked fear permeating the air as Selby sprinted towards freedom. It's a scene that could curdle the blood, yet such audacious defiance of justice, while heart-stopping in the moment, typically carries a hefty price. For Selby, the clock on his freedom was ticking. Despite the desperate lengths he had gone to in his bid to escape, his flight from the law was cut short. A mere day later, the authorities caught up with him, putting an end to his brief taste of liberty. Materializing at number 2 is the saga of Winston Moseley, the man who murdered Kitty Genovese. In a shocking turn of events during his 1964 trial, Moseley managed to overpower a guard and escape, going on a spree of robbery and rape before being recaptured 5 days later. Escaping the confines of the courtroom, Moseley did not retreat quietly into the shadows. No, dear viewers, he went on a horrifying spree of robbery and rape. The very notion sends a shiver down the spine, doesn't it? A convicted murderer on the loose, not retreating, but expanding his catalogue of heinous deeds. However, the wheels of justice grind inexorably, and Moseley's grim liberty was short-lived. After 5 days of evading capture, his reign of terror came to an end. He was recaptured and returned to custody, his chilling spree a shocking reminder of the depth of his malevolence. Finally, at the gruesome peak of our list, we arrive at the infamous tale of Ted Bundy. In a bold bid for freedom during his 1977 trial, Bundy jumped out of a second-story courthouse window and disappeared. His escape, however, was short-lived, and Bundy was soon returned to custody, where he faced the consequences of his chilling crimes. Envision the setting, my beloved viewers. The courtroom, typically a stage for measured deliberations and weighty pronouncements, was about to become the scene of a breathtaking escape. Bundy, fully aware of the gravity of his situation and the inevitable outcome of his trial, decided to take a chillingly audacious leap. Quite literally. In a moment of sheer audacity, Bundy leapt out of a second-story courthouse window, leaving behind a stunned courtroom. It was an act that defied belief, a desperate plunge into the unknown that momentarily allowed Bundy to evade the iron grasp of justice. As we conclude this macabre menagerie, we're reminded of the terrifying lengths some will go to evade justice. Whether driven by fear, desperation, or sheer audacity, these individuals gambled their fates on the courtroom floor. Some found fleeting freedom, others only compounded their crimes. But ultimately, each tale ends in the same way, with justice served. So, until we again traverse the corridors of chaos, remember, there is no escape from the crypt of crime and consequence. Until next time, my petrified pals, keep the cell doors closed and your senses sharp.